What's this? You've stumbled your way into a mysterious little library in the middle of the night. How unfortunate for you to stumble into such precarious odds. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you, unless you try to steal one of my most prized books. Come, surely you've come to this place under some ritual that you failed, so might as well take a seat and listen to a tale I have to spin. Tonight's story is a doozy. A dreamer taking a glimpse into a realm not meant for human eyes. Hi, my name is Alexander. I've had some of the worst dreams I think anybody could ever imagine having. I don't know what it was that's caused these dreams, but they've been pretty bad all of my life. Well, at least since I can really remember. Let's see. I want to say that they've started since I was around 8.5 years old. I kinda have to remember them very vividly. It's something that's not easy to forget. Least of all, the place, the things that I've seen, the way that they make me feel. It's terrible. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not trying to be cryptic or anything of that sort. I just am trying to get this out, and even as I'm writing this, I'm still trying to figure out the words as I go. I'm going to start telling you the story from the very, very beginning, from the first one that I had. If it ends up being liked, I'll probably share more. I mean, I know how horror junkies are, and if it sounds too gruesome, it can't be real, but I assure you everything that I write here truly is real. The night I remember vividly. It was the day after my birthday. Sometime in September. I was getting ready to go to bed after a night of playing on the PlayStation 2. If you know, you know. And as I was laying down, I had no idea of when it was that I had fallen asleep. I just did. And then suddenly I woke up. The place was bright, but not like because of light. It was bright because of the color around me. It was strange. This place looked familiar, but it didn't seem familiar. I'd recognized it because of my rides into town for school. It looked like the town that I was born in, though I lived on the outside of town on one of those old country roads. The place had this weird air, this weird color around it. It was swirling, kind of like that of a type of monochrome, maybe. Or maybe it was something I hadn't learned at the time. I wasn't certain. I just know that it was weird. Let's see. I remember looking at the building where my school was and seeing something that wasn't my school. In fact, it looked like a big, I guess a type of coliseum, maybe? Open roof. Big seats. I didn't go near it or in it, because something told me that if I did, there was going to be something really bad waiting for me in there. I ended up walking the main street, And as I did, the buildings all had the same thing, this monochrome color around it all, little cracks in it showing the actual color of everything. It was strange, to say the least, but something was drawing me towards where the cemetery was in town. I don't know what. I just felt the urge that I needed to go there to see if my grandfather's grave was okay. I loved my grandfather a lot. I didn't really get to know him, but I got to be there with him with his last several months, which I really loved, and I just wanted to make sure he was okay. When I got to the stop sign, though, of the grave, of the graveyard, I noticed there was something off about it. There was this strange language written on the stop sign. I knew what it was because it was, still had this air of red and the octagon shape. I just, the things that were written on it just felt wrong to try to read, like my brain was having trouble piecing it together, like it's a language that humankind isn't ready to know. At least, looking at it now with how I know things are, I know exactly what it is. And it definitely is not a language ready for man. They speak it, these things. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself again. I stood there in front of it when a sharp glow of color hit me. Around the corner there was this tree. It was a bunch of colors that I could make out. A brown, a white, a red. The leaves were green, turning to gray and orange, as if it was in a constant state of life, death, and rebirth. I walked up to the tree in fascination. It gave me a bunch of different sensations. It felt safe, but when I placed my hand on it, there was this strange sensation. The bark was soft, comfortable to the touch, but it felt like it was, like when you just sharpen a knife and you run your thumb over it to see if the sharpness stuck. It felt like that, like you could draw your hand down the bark and at any moment cut your hand open. But the tree itself was safe. When I touched it, though, its growth slowed, and it glowed. The leaves were this vibrant green, as if recognizing that somebody was there. And then that's when I heard it. There was this screech coming from around the corner, other side of the tree, towards the graveyard where I wanted to go. And there was a terrible sight to behold. There was this girl lying, her head facing the entrance of the graveyard, her eyes grayed over with death, the light long since lost, her body jolting and shaking as something was moving her. Someone. Or at least I thought it was someone. When I stepped around a few tombstones, I saw it. This thing, it was eating her, its head upside down on its neck, multi-jointed, cracking as it moved. Its spine was contorted and shaking under every movement, its arms bent around its body, the left arm going around the back, holding itself up, the right turning in front, ripping the guts from the girl's stomach, shoving them into its mouth. I took a step back, and as I did, I kicked a stone, hitting a tombstone and alerting it to my presence. When it looked up at me, the black ichor strung from its mouth as it cracked and stood. Its body was horrendous. Sorry, I need to take a moment. Recalling this is, it's a painful thing. I know that in this story it might not sound that bad, but having seen it, its guts removed from its body, hanging limp, dragging the ground, its torso twisted, its ribs broken and piercing its skin in an X shape as the black ichor runs down its side, its legs bent inward and backward, one of them twisted and wrung as if somebody was trying to dry a towel. Its arms, the left arm broken and dislocated, its forebones broken and breaching its skin. The other arm was stretched, its bone broken into little segments, and as it pressed down, you could hear it cracking and grinding, and its arm bent in an unnatural way as it walked. But when it stood upright, its neck straightened out and its head hung upside down, a crazy look in its eyes. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel about this thing. I just know that it was not meant for me to look at, but I made the worst mistake anybody could have made. That was turning around, trying to run. But the moment I turned around, I felt it grab my leg and yank me down. And when my head hit a tombstone, and I woke up screaming in my bed, crying and wailing. I wanted to be safe. I needed to know I was safe. And when I looked, my grandmother was there. She was who I was living with at the time. She said I'd been crying since 11:30. They'd been trying to wake me up, tell me it was a nightmare, but I didn't wake up until it was around 2:59 a.m. And this time has been a pattern. I always wake up at this time. I can't go back to sleep after it, though. I'm sorry this has taken so long, and I am so sorry you had to deal with this. But thank you for taking the time to read, listen, however you might hear this. Thank you. Please, if ever you start having dreams where you're seeing colors that you're not certain of, try to get some help for it. I urge you. This has been Alexander. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Wow, such an incredible story, wasn't it? Quite a spine chiller. Please, if you enjoyed this, like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe I'll teach you the little ritual to end up in this little library for another chilling tale. In the meantime, good night, little ones. Sleep tight.